Yes, I want to especially welcome you to this second module of grade 1. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the first module, and I want to appreciate you. God bless you in Jesus' name. Yes, we move straight to our lesson. I started the key signature I ended on key signature in our last class, and I simply introduced key signature as such that tells us what a key of a piece of music is written in, and which also indicates how many sharps or flats are present in a particular piece of music that we are set to sing or to play. I'll be starting with the key of C, which is a natural key, and this can be sometimes is represented with C, where you have the key signature drawn, and this simply tells us that it is a natural key of C, and this does not have any accidented representation along the scale. And peradventure you see anyone, it is called chromatic notes, which gives you the sound of like D, Re, Mi, Vi, Si, Todo, just like that. And they are not part of the natural flow of a scale. The key of G has a sharp, the key of D has two sharps, and the line affected in the key of G is F. Please take note of this. And for the key of D, the line and space affected is line F and the space C. And this is very, very important that you also master and know, because they will help you to understand. And do not forget that I said is an indication of the key that are to be sharpened or flattened. That is key signature. So once these notes are sharpened, they do not need to be sharpened again when you are reading your music, because they have been represented at the beginning of the staff. And same goes to key A major. Key A major has three sharps representing them. So sharpened, you have F, C, and G, and it continues like that. And the one that is added for key E major is D, and for key B major is A is added. For F sharp, E is added, and for C sharp, B is added. But please let me quickly note this, and please try to listen at this point in case you quickly forget the kind of key that has two sharps, three sharps, four sharps, five sharps, six sharps, and seven sharps. This will help you to quickly remember. If you remember when I first started, I thought that we have lines and spaces, and these lines and spaces have their fixed names. The last line is F, and that's the affected line or the affected notes. If you move upward after F, we have G. So that reminds you that the key that has one sharp is a key of G major. Let me just quickly explain that on the two sharps. The last sharp there is on space C. If you move upward by movement, you go to D, and you remember that the key is built on D major. The last note affected for the next one that has three sharps is G, and after G, what do you have? A, and that reminds you that the key that has three sharps is key of A. And the last note that is affected is D in the case of four sharps, and after D, what do you have? You move upward, you have E, and that reminds you that the key that has four sharps, or the music built with four sharps, is on the key of E major. And ditto for key B major. The last space affected is space A, and if you move upward, you have the third line, which is B, and that reminds you that it is built on key B major. Ditto for the next one that has six sharps. The last one there is E, space E, and if you move upward, you have F, which is the last line. That reminds you that this key is built, this music is built with key F major. And ditto for C, the last note affected is the third line, and which is B, and that is the line on which the last sharp is drawn, and that is B. If you move upward by a movement, you have C, and that reminds you that this key is built with this particular music is built with key C major. Please do not forget this simple formula. And the next one is the flattened keys. You have the first one being F major, and the line that is affected is B. Please do not forget this. Don't forget that. At least do not forget the first one. It will really help you to remember the others. And the next one is two flats, B and E. So B and E. Just read backward. Second to the last line or space affected is the name given to the flattened key. So the flat keys rather. So the second to the last here is B, and that reminds you that this music is built with key B flat major. Then the next one is you have B, E, A, and then second to the last space affected is space E, and the space E is an indication or reminder that this music was built on key E flat. And you have B, A, D. The second to the last note that is affected is A, and that reminds you that this music is built on key A flat. And then second to the last for the next one that has 5 flats is D, and that reminds you do not need to count upward or backward. The major thing is I just count the flats or sharps backward by a movement, and you remember that this is exactly what we are talking of. And ditto for G flat, you just count backward. You have G from C to G. You remember that it is G flat, and the next one just count F and C. So you remember that it is on key C flat. Please try as much as possible to master the representation of these lines and these notes, these sharps and flats on the lines and spaces. Know the lines that are affected, and know the spaces that are also affected. These are very, very important to us. You may be asked in a test or in an exam. So please click this link. It will take you straight to the YouTube page where key signature is also taught extensively. God bless you. And let me just quickly take us down to time value of notes, and I'll be teaching the dotted notes and why, and how to interpret or relate with dotted notes and the rest signs. Music notes have names, just like each of our children have their names, and we can identify them by their names. They have their names, that they have their ages. Their ages are their values. Semi-breve as its value is the most senior. Yes, we can have another one called breve, and breve is twice a semi-breve, and the rest sign is drawn in between the third line and the fourth line and touches both lines in the middle. So we have semi-breve following breve, and that takes, if that is 8 bits value, this takes 4 bits value, but it's not static. Semi-breve can be 1, semi-breve can be 2. It depends on the music we are drawing. So some people will not even have 4 bits attributed to semi-breve. They will say is whole note, and that is 1. In case you are reading some music materials and you are seeing 1, it is the same thing. So the most important thing is to understand the relationship across the other notes and know their values as you connect them together. So semi-breve, if semi-breve is 4 or has 4 bits counts, definitely minim will have 2 bits counts, because two minims makes a semi-breve. That shows that we have 2 minims in a semi-breve. Ditto for crotchets. We have 2 crotchets in a minim, we have 2 quavers in a crotchet, and 4 quavers in a minim, and 8 quavers, so on and on like that. So the semi quaver, we have 2 of it in quaver, and we have demi semi quaver represented twice in semi-quaver. And do not forget the arrest signs. Know how they are represented. A rectangular shape drawn below the line, that is semi-breve. Do not forget breve. It touches both the third line and the fourth line. So this is drawn under the line. Minim is drawn above the line, and crochet is drawn this way, just like 3 or so, and or inverted 7. Then quaver is written like 7. Semi-quaver has 2 tails, just like the notes, and the semi-quaver has 3 tails, just like the notes are represented. So please do not forget their relationships. Their relationships are very, very important that you master, because they will really help in reading the notes and in classifying the notes also. The next one that I'll be looking at is quickly is the relationships across their. Of course, I've explained their relationships twice of minim in semi-breve, 4 of crochets in semi-breve, and twice of a crochet in a minim. And of course it runs like that, and quavers, semi-quaver and demi-semi-quaver. Yes, I'll be treating this later. Because it's very important to us, and I can't treat it now. It will be treated under articulation. Articulations are the musical notes that are approached while singing, and how musical notes are approached while singing. So, and either in a strong way, in a mild way, in a gentle way, gradually increasing, gradually decreasing. So we'll be treating those articulations later. This is accent, and we'll be talking about that later. So the bar line, I mentioned it briefly at the beginning of this lesson, and I'll be mentioning it now. Bar lines are short lines that divide the staff into equal divisions. Equal divisions, not in terms of number of notes, but in terms of value of notes. You have 2 crochets in the first bar. You have 2 crochets in the second bar. You have 4 quavers in the third bar, which amounts to 2 crochets, and we have 4 quavers in third bar in relation to 1 minim in the last bar. They all have the same value, and they are divided by the bar line into equal divisions of value. The same thing applies to the B of 39. You have in the second bar you have a dotted crochet. That dot takes half of the crochet, which is the addition of a quiver to a crochet. Please do not forget that. If you are reading that now, so you may say this is a crochet, we have another crochet ending in the same bar, that makes 2, and that makes 2 1/2. So it does not amount to the 3 notes that we have at the beginning of the notes. yes, but you need to understand that dots carry a value. It carries a value. The note that is dotted will determine the value of the dots. The dot does not have a static value. A minim can be dotted, a crochet can be dotted, a quiver can be dotted. So whichever note that is dotted will determine the value of the dots. And look at the last one on the last bar. Minim is dotted there, and minim, the dot there will automatically carry a bit count. So if minim is 2 bits, the dot will carry 1. And meanwhile, in the second bar, the dot carries half bit count, because it is applied to a crochet. Please do not forget that. Then when you have double bars are applied to the last part of a music to indicate that the music has ended, and please do not forget all of these. So of course the time signature are very important to us, and we have treated I've tried to explain I've tried to explain the key signature. Yes, I'll be explaining the time signature in a short while. Time signature is very important in music, as it states the value of notes. along the staff. States the value of notes along the staff. And time signature, I want to move a little quickly. I will just quickly explain to us. Time signature are very important this way. The upper note, the upper figure states the beats per bar, and the lower one states the note that carries that carries a beat. Please try to understand this. The upper figure states the number of beats per bar. I've taught you bar now. So the number of beats that you have within a bar, either 4 or 2 or 3. So you have them written there. So, and it can even be 12. So depending on what we are looking for. So we can have any. So whatever you see at the top will determine the number of notes, the number of beats rather you have within a bar, and the lower figure indicates the notes that gets a beat value. Yes, for 2/4, the 2 at the top represents the number of beats that we will have within a bar, and the 4 represents a crochet. When you see 4 below, it represents a crochet. Meaning, when you see 2 below, under, it represents a minim. When you see 8 under, it represents a quiver. Please do not forget all of these, and that is why it's important that you get accustomed to the names of musical notes and their representations also. So crochets, when you see 4 below, it is not 2/4. Rather, it is called 2/4. It's called 3/4. It's called 4/4. It's called 2/2, 3/2, 4/2, 2/8, 3/8, and 4/8. And these are very important. You understand also. So we have 2 crochets in a bar because we have 4 under. So 4 representing crochets, 2 crochets in a bar, 3 crochets in a bar, 4 crochets in a bar. So in a bar, you have 4 value of crochets. That doesn't mean that you have crochets represented directly like this. You can have 8 quavers, and that amounts to 4 crochets also. So 2 minims in a bar, 3 minims in a bar, 4 minims in a bar when you have 2 under, and when you have 8 under, you have 2 quavers in a bar, 3 quavers in a bar, 4 quavers in a bar. So these are very, very important to also know. We have 4/4, we have 2/2, we have 4/2 here also. There are so many times attributed to music. It depends on the type of music you are writing, and please, all of these are very important, and we'll be applying them later as we go on. For time signature, please kindly click this link. It will take you to the page where time signature is simplified also, and is extensively taught for a longer time than I can bear here, so that we can reduce the volume of the file I'll be uploading. Yes, dotted note. I've mentioned the dotted note the other time, that the dot takes the value of the note that is being dotted. If crochet is dotted, definitely you have quiver added to the crochet, and if quiver is dotted, you have semi-quiver added to the quiver, and this is what is represented here. This is also continuation of our time signature. We have 2/2, we have 4/2, we have 2/8, we have 3/2, we have 3/8, we have 3/8, 3/4, 3/8, we have 4/2, 4/4, 4/8. And please do not forget that 3/8 is 3 quavers in a bar, 2/4 is 2 crochets in a bar, 2/2 is 2 minims in a bar. Please do not forget all of these. They are very, very important to understand and to remember. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I'll be rounding off on these notes. A task will be posted to us. Please kindly attempt the task. And this is the end of grade 1 of our music lesson. By the grace of God, by the time we finish this, you'll be happy that at least you understand the basics of music, and you'll be applying them as we go on in the next class. God bless you. All right, bye. Thank you.